It's very hard to just suddenly have your legs taken away from you. You're not going to get better. This is how you're going to be for life. It was described as a fairly routine procedure. It was just slightly above what I'd had done before, but with some metal work. That was the way it was described. The original operation was because I'd slipped 2 discs. This was the 3rd time that disc had slipped. This time he wanted to take out both discs at both levels, fuse the bones, to prevent any further leakage of discs, and then put a metal cage around both of those levels, and then 6 pins to hold that cage in place. Mr. Reynolds, the surgeon, came in to see me and said, "Can you feel this?" I couldn't feel anything. It was quite worrying just from that second onwards. Right. He just said, "You are going to experience some issues because nerves are very delicate things, and we've jangled them about quite a lot, so you're probably just suffering a temporary loss of sensation." Afterwards, when it became clear to me that it wasn't temporary, then, I was panicked, but I was daunted. The whole thing was nerve-wracking. Would I get any feelings back in my legs whatsoever? What would it mean to me, to my family? What would I do, basically? I feel let down by the NHS, not just because of the fact that that one surgeon made a mistake and then clearly lied about it. I was never taught how to walk on my crutches in my Zimmer frame. I was never taught any of that. But then when you get to the spinal unit, you are taught all of these things, and suddenly you realise that you probably can deal with everything. It's just that you needed the information in order to deal with it. You needed the truth. You needed to know, what your diagnosis was. And once you can accept that as a person, then you can then move on. Could you pass me a gabapentin, please, Abby? I am very determined to become independent, and it is something that I've spoken about with my psychologist. Last year when I went into rehab, I was given a wheelchair, one that my husband or my daughter, my son, can get out of the car and I can get into it, and we could go perhaps down by the river, visiting friends. The car's already been adapted, so I just need to pull that with my hand and I can drive myself. I don't like being dependent on other people. I've always worked and helped other people. It's not in my nature to be helped, so I do find that quite difficult.
No, he didn't want John to bring him, so Tina was going to bring him.
You're given a wheelchair and your eyes are open because you suddenly think, well, I can actually go out. There are lots of schemes running in lots of towns where you can borrow wheelchairs, electric wheelchairs and things. But you're limited on time then, so you have to do things within a certain time scale, and you have to be in town, and you don't always want to be shopping in town. You don't always have the money to go shopping in town.
I think she's reacted better than anyone else could have. I think if it happened to a weaker person, then they would have just retracted, gone back to their house and stayed in their living room, stayed in their bed. Whereas Mum, I think, wants to just adapt her life rather than change it, so that she can still live with all her grandchildren and be the fun Mum.
Hey?
I made painting.
You made what?
Painting.
Oh, painting?
Yes, with my dad.
A daffodil. What's this on your arm? What's that?
Paint.
Paint? Oh, what are we going to do? Say, that's okay, Nanny, we can wash that. We can wash that, can't we?
Yeah.
Where's Nanny been?
You?
Yeah, where have I been?
You've been to doctor.
What the doctor's doing? What the doctor's doing?
Doctor fixing your leg.
Fixing my leg.
Oh,
Yeah.
put a finger at your nose.
Oh, that's nice.
I think everyone misses their mum when they go to uni, but for me, I think it's that a little bit more difficult because I knew that she was going to be at home a lot by herself. Mum, I don't think really wanted me to go in her heart, but in her head knew I wanted to do it. Although Mum can cope well with being at home, it was difficult for me knowing that she's going to be sat, nothing to do, no one to talk to. I think our relationship's better now. When I do come home, it's not so much that I'm a carer anymore, so I can just release and come home and relax, because I know Mum's getting more and more independent all the time.
The only people that I feel, have done their job correctly is the National Spinal Unit that does the rehabilitation. When I play basketball at the Gutman Centre in Stoke Mandeville, you just feel like you come alive, and you have a laugh, and you pull each other out of your wheelchairs, and it's just fun. Everyone I've met so far, especially in the spinal unit, they all seem to have the same sense of
Wanting to play but not so professional.
determination, and they try and see the funny side of everything. I suppose it just helps them get by. It's time to just start doing things. Finished up with all these appointments and everything medical. Just want it all to stop now. And I think a lot of people that are in wheelchairs and things like that, they are eventually at some point they do get to that stage where they're determined.
Yeah.
And they develop a sense of humour. Go! Go! Oh no! The sense of humour becomes real rather than an act. So yeah, that's where I want to get to, the same stage.
And Florida,
And Florida.
most importantly.
Yeah, most importantly.